Good? We're good? Awesome. How's it going, folks? Mark Moody here from Canaan Valley Resort, and welcome back to another episode of Fall Foliage Fridays. Now, since last week, well, the leaves have started to fall. They're falling right behind me. There goes one right there. So just because the leaves are falling doesn't mean that we're out of autumn just yet. In fact, there are still a few things that I highly recommend checking out this fall because, let's face it, this is one of the best falls that we've had on record, and the valley, the surrounding area, is looking spectacular. Number one on that list are the trails out here at the resort. There are so many different trails you can go hiking, biking, one-wheeling if you got it. That's how I get around because I don't have a mountain bike, so that's what I do when I want to go out and ride some of the trails. But I digress. The trails look amazing right now with all the leaves falling. It's absolutely gorgeous out here. I feel a big gust coming, so I think we're gonna get some leaves here in a second. I mean, check this out. Look at this. Look at this. Isn't that wild? Look at all of that falling. And Back Hollow's not the only place that's happening. It's happening out on Club Run, it's happening out on Promised Land, it's happening in practically every other trail here in the state park. So the post-peak fall trails are definitely worth coming and paying a visit. One of the other areas I highly recommend checking out here is River Road. Right now we're on one of the campsites along River Road, which is about a 20-minute drive away from the resort, and I must say, it's well worth the drive. I was actually out here about a week ago and it still looked like summer, and just within that time, fall has really begun to creep its way in down here. One of the biggest things you can do along River Road is go camping. As I mentioned, we're at one of the campsites right now, and there are a number of them all along River Road, most of which are riverfront campsites, and I mean, this is a beautiful spot to go camping if you ask me. Now, when it comes to these campsites, they are first come, first serve, so there's no making reservations. So just keep that in mind if you are planning a camping trip down here. Another great thing you can do down here is going fishing. Right behind me is the Dry Fork section of the Cheat River. Great spot to go fishing. If you do plan on coming fishing, make sure you have a license, of course. Now, in addition to camping and fishing, River Road is also a perfect spot for photography. There's a lot of stuff you can photograph down here, ranging from the foliage, the wildlife, the river, the landscape, all the beautiful scenery. Honestly, I don't think you could take a bad picture down here on River Road. And that goes for amateurs, hobbyists, professionals. Even if you just like taking pictures with your phone, River Road is a fantastic spot for some fall photography. But if River Road isn't really your style, well, I have another location that I think is worth checking out. It's a personal favorite of mine, and I think you might like it. Oh yes, that beautiful chunk of stone you see right there, well, that's Seneca Rocks. So right now we're about 30 to 40 minutes away from Canaan Resort. We're actually in a whole other county altogether, and we're also at a much lower elevation. As I mentioned all the way back in the very first video, that Canaan is at a higher elevation, so it experiences fall much earlier than the rest of the region. So right about now, up in Canaan, where we're getting ready to leave fall, places like Seneca Rocks are just now starting to go through it. So what can you do down here at Seneca? Well, there's a lot. You can camp, you can fish, you can also hike. There are tons of trails around here. They'll take you all around the park here, all around the rocks. There's actually a trail that will take you all the way up to an observation tower over there near the North Summit. But if you're feeling a little more adventurous, yes, you can climb Seneca Rocks. There are dozens of trails out on this face, a few on the other face, trails that'll take you to the North Summit, trails that'll take you up to the South Summit. So if you do plan on going climbing, make sure you go with a few friends, bring a guide. There are tons of folks in the area that would love to guide. I've climbed Seneca Rocks before, but I did it during the summer. I've never done it during fall, so I can only imagine what it looks like with the fall foliage. It probably would be absolutely incredible. It was an incredible experience to begin with, but I feel like climbing it during autumn just is the cherry on top. So it is still beautiful down here at Seneca. It's still beautiful up there at River Road, and it's still beautiful all the way back in Canaan Valley. Just because the leaves are falling doesn't mean we're done with autumn. There's still a lot of beautiful stuff to see out here. So with that being said, that is it for this video. That's it for Fall Foliage Fridays. I really hope you all have enjoyed this video as well as this series as a whole. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you when we get some snow. Bye-bye.